Hey there, Bingers. Welcome to The Binge, the show about everything interesting under the sun. Have you ever found yourself falling down a rabbit hole of information, chasing a topic from one link to the next? Or maybe you've had a burning question pop into your head out of nowhere and spent hours, even days, looking for the answer. We're all drawn to the strange, the wonderful, and the things that make us say, I never knew that. This is a show for the endlessly curious, for the people who find magic in a mundane fact, and who get a thrill from a new discovery. Each episode will dive deep into something fascinating, from the secret history of everyday objects to the mysteries of the cosmos and the bizarre behaviors of the animal kingdom. So, are you ready to get lost with us? The journey starts now.
It's the Binge Podcast where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.
The Rosetta Stone. History isn't a storybook. It's a cold case file. Most of the evidence is gone, and what remains is a jumbled collection of half-truths and dead ends. Then, if you're lucky, some grunt stumbles over a piece of the puzzle that was never meant to be found. That's what happened with the Rosetta Stone. It wasn't a heroic discovery, just a busted slab of rock, chipped and forgotten in the dirt. It wasn't beautiful, it wasn't grand, and it wasn't screaming for attention. But for a dead civilization that had gone silent for millennia, it was the only witness left. On July 15th, 1799, near the town of Rosetta in the Nile Delta, a French engineer named Pierre-François Bouchard and his men were tearing down an ancient wall to build a new fortress. They hit a wall, a physical one, a piece of dark granodiorite, covered in what looked like three different versions of the same senseless scribble. It was a stone, a piece of junk, a utilitarian decree from 196 BC, nothing more than administrative boilerplate. It weighed over 700 kilograms and stood 112 centimeters high, a monument to a forgotten language. It didn't belong in a museum. It belonged in the ground, and that's exactly where it had been for 2,000 years, an anonymous fragment of a larger monument, its surface worn to a cold, impassive texture by time and dust. This one rock held the whole game. The top script was the hieroglyphs, a pictorial code that had been a closed book for over a millennium. They had the look of a child's drawings, a series of tiny birds and snakes and eyes, meaningless as an old photograph of someone who wasn't there. Below that was Demotic, a later, curvier script that was also a mystery. And at the bottom, the bait, was the ancient Greek, a language scholars could still read. The message was the same across all three. The stone was a Rosetta, a key, and it lay there cold and indifferent, waiting for the right kind of mind to obsess over it. The decipherment wasn't a flash of insight, it was a grind. It was a meticulous, agonizing descent into madness, a pure study of pattern recognition and obsession. Thomas Young, a brilliant English polymath, started the work, meticulously comparing the three texts, seeing patterns where others saw only noise. He made some progress, identifying phonetic characters and proving the hieroglyphs were not just pictograms. But he couldn't finish the job. He was good, but not obsessive enough. Jean-François Champollion, the French academic, was the only one who had the necessary madness. For over a decade, he lived and breathed this puzzle. He ate, slept, and bled hieroglyphs. He spent hours, days, years comparing the Greek names like Ptolemy and Cleopatra to the cartouches on the hieroglyphic text, a detective meticulously cross-referencing every lead, every tiny detail. He didn't just want to solve it, he needed to. It was a compulsion. The moment it broke open was when he realized that the same sign, a small Ankh symbol, appeared in the name of both Ramses and Thutmose. The signs were not just concepts, they were phonetic. A sound for a shape, a cold, hard fact, a single small victory that unlocked a dead world. From there, it was a domino effect. The cold case went from a dead end to a wide-open book. The Rosetta Stone didn't just tell us about one decree, it gave us the tools to read every inscription, every tomb, every papyrus scroll. It turned a collection of historical noise into a coherent record. It's the ultimate lesson in human history. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of rock and the singular consuming will of one man to tear a hole in time and see what was on the other side. The city's gaze. Urban surveillance. The city doesn't sleep. It doesn't just rest. It watches. Not with a conscious mind, but with a network of optical nerves, a distributed nervous system of cameras and sensors that never blinks. It's a truth so mundane we no longer see it. The lens on the traffic light, the discrete dome mounted on the corner of a building, the automated license plate readers that register every vehicle that passes. This isn't a future state fantasy. It's the present reality of any major metropolitan area. The system is already here, and it operates with a cold, immoral efficiency. The data isn't collected for a specific purpose, but for every purpose. Its value isn't in a single image of a person, but in the aggregate. The system tracks the flow of a crowd as if it were a current in a river. It notes the time a vehicle spends in a particular parking lot, the speed at which a delivery truck travels, the moments a public space is at its most or least crowded. This information isn't used to find a single person, but to refine a model, to optimize, to predict. It's a truth a million times more terrifying than a single voyeur. The machine doesn't care about a person's life, it only cares about their pattern. This is the great quiet surrender. The system isn't a conspiracy, it's an infrastructure. It exists to solve problems we have collectively agreed need solving. Traffic congestion, public safety, urban planning. It is a logical, inevitable extension of our own desire for order. There is no evil mastermind behind a curtain. There is only a series of logical deductions, of if-then statements, of data points correlating in the dark. The real horror isn't a malevolent intent, but a total absence of it. The gaze is simply there, an indifferent reflection of our modern lives. And what of the human element, the ghost in the machine? The security analysts in a dim room watching a dozen screens simultaneously, they aren't looking for a single face. They're looking for an anomaly, a deviation from the pattern. The person who walks against the flow of traffic, who waits too long at an intersection, who pauses in place where people don't typically pause. The analyst's mind becomes a mirror of the system itself, trained to filter out the normal and flag the unusual. They become as detached as the algorithm, their empathy eroded by the sheer volume of data, their sense of personhood blurred into the sea of other people's patterns. They are, in their own way, just another component, an organic extension of the surveillance network. And so we move through this landscape, believing in the illusion of privacy. We walk the streets, take our trains, and sit in public squares, all while contributing to a massive, unblinking record of our every move. The city is a vast, open book, and our stories are being written not by a novelist, but by a machine that only understands numbers. And in the perfect, geometric lines of a graph, our humanity becomes a perfectly predictable equation. The aisle. The fluorescent light is a constant, humming ache. It bleeds down from a vast, unseen ceiling, sterilizing the air and bleaching the colors out of everything. It's a precise clinical environment, and that's the point. Every visit is a process, a surgical procedure conducted in the pale glow of 1,000 watts. This isn't a chore, it's a system. A means of imposing order on the chaos outside. The world is an unpredictable, volatile place, but here the lines are straight and the patterns are predictable. This is a sanctuary of certainty, and the objective is simple: execute the plan. The list is a blueprint. Scrawled in thin blue ink on a note card, its fibers softened by repeated handling, it's a finite, manageable set of instructions. Whole milk, black coffee, Canned tomatoes. Each item is a variable that can be controlled. The hand gripping the wire cart is steady, the knuckles as pale white against the metal. The wheels squeak a high-pitched protest against the linoleum, a brief, sharp noise quickly consumed by the ambient hum of refrigeration units and the distant, tinny music that serves as a distraction, a thin veneer of humanity over the transactional nature of the place. The journey is a line of logic. The first stop is produce, where the decay is still in its early manageable stages. The vegetables are arranged by color and size, a neat, symmetrical pattern that appeals to the part of the brain that craves repetition. The mist from the misters falls like a fine, artificial rain, keeping the lettuce crisp, prolonging the illusion of freshness. The hands move with practiced ease, selecting a single head of iceberg, a few firm avocados, no more, no less. There is no impulse here, only the measured fulfillment of a predetermined need. The middle aisles are a canyon of cardboard and plastic, a labyrinth of brands and endless choice. This is the test of will. The cart glides past glossy packages and promises of convenience, a disciplined vessel on its course. The faces of the other shoppers are a blur, their carts a series of haphazard vectors in a space designed for linear motion. There are no smiles here, just quiet, focused extraction. The eyes of the surveillance cameras are a dull, unblinking confirmation of your presence. They watch you complete the ritual, a silent observer of the small, meaningless victories that define the day. The final act is at the counter. The scanner makes a quick, decisive sound. Each beep is an acknowledgement, a small, satisfying step in the completion of the task. The cashier's eyes are blank. Her movements are a practiced, joyless economy. She doesn't need to know the why. No one does. The total on the screen is a single, unambiguous number. Money is exchanged, a final cold transaction. The bag is a clean plastic receptacle for the day's collection. The receipt is a long, narrow strip of thermal paper, a final definitive list of every action taken. It is the artifact of a task completed. The car is a capsule of dark gray, a temporary holding cell against the elements. The engine starts with a low rumble. Back in the apartment, the refrigerator door opens with a sigh. The items are placed with care, each in its predetermined spot. The whole milk, the black coffee, the canned tomatoes, each one a marker of control, a small victory against the entropy of daily life. The list is crumbled and discarded. It's done. The order has been briefly and meticulously restored. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe.
You know by now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. By now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. You laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.